So it seems we can start. I hope everybody can hear me and see me properly. Good morning to everyone, to all the corners, to Europe, and welcome to another Industry 4.0 web cafe that is dedicated today to the topic reuse, reduce, recycle. And the parallels are about Industry 4.0 and environmental aspects of smart industry, digitalization, and so on. This is what we would like to discuss today. Welcome from Prague, from me, Tereza Shamanova. I will be moderator of this webinar. I do hope you have your cups of coffee with you. I've got the mine one, or maybe if you prefer a tea, you can have a cup of tea, of course. And the topic today is really serious. We should do our preparatory exercises for the Earth Day that will follow in the next month on 22nd of April. And we should have a look at the good practices that are happening all over the Europe. We should discuss about how far or how close is Industry 4.0 and smart procedures in manufacturing to our planet, to the protection of our environment, protection of our soil, water, and air. And just to introduce the topic, let's be aware that the situation is not very good, that the World Economic Forum has underlined that the European industry is one of the greatest polluters in the world, that it emits an annual total of 880 million tons of carbon dioxide yearly. It contributes by 30% to the more than 900 million tons of waste in Europe. And that it also contributes to the contamination of air, and it causes serious health problems to the inhabitants of Europe, and that 5% of lung cancers are due to extended exposure to pollution. So today we should discuss about how all of us and how the European industry could help to improve the situation, could help to improve itself. And please let you be aware that this Industry 4.0 webinar is a part of a series. Last time we have discussed the gender aspects in industry. Today we are discussing the environmental aspects. Tomorrow or after tomorrow there will be another topic. And 7 European projects have today joined their efforts to communicate with you and with us the topic reduce, reuse, and recycle. These projects are Intergrade, DemoFac, Level Up, Penelope, I4MS, I4Q, and Change the Twin. And me today, I'm here in a position of moderator and in the same time of ambassador of I4MS initiative. I'm physically based in Prague, Czech Republic, and the Czech Republic is one of the less represented countries in I4MS initiative and other European projects. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm I4MS ambassador, and that's why I would like also to encourage people, companies, and industry from my country and from the surrounding Central European countries to pay more attention to the European projects that are represented today, to pay more attention to the opportunities they are offering to support development of smart industry, digitalization, but also green solutions that would help to improve the situation of our planet. So that's it. That's about our topic. Just a few more sentences on behalf of me and situation here in Czech Republic. My organization, Czechino, is on a Czech market for 11th year. For the same time, 11th year, this year, we are organizing an innovative competition called Visionaries. And each year we have the pleasure to observe what is happening in Czech entrepreneurship, how innovative are Czech companies. And each year in our Visionaries competition, we have wonderful examples of green solutions, environmentally friendly solutions. For example, observing the carbon path. For example, introducing systems for recycling plastic and reusing it in industry. Introducing solutions for waste management, for example, for lowering the dependence on external sources of energy. And this is why I'm really interested what will be brought by the speakers today. We have 4 amazing personalities from all over the Europe here today. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Edurne Suarez Lecardi, who is working for Imentec from Galicia, Spain, technology center, engineer specialized in materials, project manager, and circular economy researcher. And her passion is to contribute to create a positive change through sustainability and circular economy innovation. So Edurne, welcome here. Another speaker who will be bringing his contribution is Oscar Salgado, physically based in Basque region, Spain, working for Ikerlan nowadays, and specialized in the, for example, industrial research projects, and being author or co-author of several papers and articles in the field of smart industry and also mechanical engineering. So that's Oscar. Welcome here. Then we will move to the southern Italy, to Sicily more specifically. Gabriele Canini, technical director of Etnaspa, is today here with us. He's focused in engineering for customer job and R&D. He's got experiences in automatic packaging machinery for tissue, food, beverage industry, and he is and was manager in several R&D projects and innovation roadmap about Industry 4.0. So welcome, Gabriele. And last but not least, greetings to London, to Marco Meloni, who is a consultant at DSS Plus and specializes in circular economy and industrial ecology projects. He has spent the last 5 years working on projects integrating sustainability and resource efficiency into organization strategies, and working with a multidisciplinary and multicultural teams. So these are our 4 speakers. We have spent quite a lot of time by the initial introduction, so now I'm transmitting the microphone and the word to Edurne, who should introduce her insights in her 5 minutes that are dedicated for her introductory speech. So Edurne, it's
Okay, thank you, Teresa, for the introduction. I'm very glad to be here, and also I'm happy to see that this topic on sustainability and circular economy in industry is becoming or starting to be addressed. I think it's something that is very important. So I will say that from my side, or the perspective that I have on this topic is that the knowledge, the society awareness, and I will say also the technology that will be needed to, for example, make sustainable manufacturing a reality is already here. Although I still think that we are lacking a stricter policy that will really push the implementation of circular economy practices and sustainability practices in industry. My feeling is that we are still at early days here, but the good thing is that we have seen, and it has been proved, that there is no other way to keep going. So we cannot keep manufacturing and production in the business as usual scenario. We cannot keep production on the make, take, West linear economy scenario. I think that we need really to address things that change drastically, the whole system to really achieve this sustainable manufacturing here.
Okay, great. We will be very soon back to you, Edurne, with the first questions, but now I would like to invite Oscar to introduce his few sentences related to the topic, introduce his position, and tell us what is he bringing to this webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. It's really also a pleasure for me to be here with these colleagues here. Well, I fully agree with the words that Edurne has said. I think we need to be totally committed into this greener transition that the Commission is pushing forward. And well, there are many different technologies that are almost ready to be used into that path. Mainly because of my career or my technical insights, I'm more related to digitalization and to bringing zero defect manufacturing technology into reality. And the implementation of these technologies across the different manufacturing sectors can also bring their value to being more effective, try to reduce the waste in different kind of industries, and then make things really ready for their implementation. I think we are going forward. There is still a lot of work to do, especially for SMEs that are maybe not really so advanced. But I think we are in the good direction, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much. And how about Gabriele? What does he think? And I will be very soon back to you, Edurne and Oscar, with my first questions, because I'm already.
Hey, thank you very much, Teresa, and good morning to everybody. Also, I'm proud to participate to this webinar about to be green in general, because sharing many initiatives on these items is very important. Robopack and AETNA produce machinery for secondary and tertiary packaging, so use in this machine a lot of prime material like paper, like plastic film, and so on. And we are near to our customer to understand how to reduce and optimize the use of this prime material, not only for cost reason, but mainly also since some years now for sustainability reason. So Robopack invest money in a technological lab in which we have a real machine and real test machine to prove this material and to prove this material on real product of our customer. Just to understand how to optimize the usage of this, reduce the waste, and also testing new material, recycled and reused. But with this project, thank you to the European community, with Change to Twin, we want to do another step that is not test real material, but test virtual material. So virtualize the behavior of material and the machine in order to have a model, a digital model related to a physical model, in order to don't use material, to understand how to optimize the production. So this is the aims of our participation in these items, and one of the way in which we want to participate to the Industry 4.0 paradigm in more large sense. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And meanwhile, I'm trying to tell the audience that they might ask their questions. They might pose their questions into the chat that is appearing on the right side in the panel of the video conference under chat. And of course, we will be happy to collect and answer later their questions. I have already my first questions ready for you, but before that, I would like to ask Marco also to bring his introductory statements to tell us what is he bringing and what he would like to speak about, and then we will start immediately with the discussion and with the questions of the audience. So Marco, it's yours.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm really glad to be here this morning talking about a really extremely relevant topic nowadays, that it's sustainable manufacturing, and also sharing a bit about our work in the Level Up project. Nowadays, there's a lot of discussions about what sustainable manufacturing is and how to measure it. And in this context, we advocate for a life cycle approach to make sure that even though you're only looking at manufacturing, that you're considering the impacts along the entire life cycle. And this is something that we've done within the Level Up project, where we work to develop an environmental assessment tool to measure the benefits of the life extension of large industrial equipment. So I have a few more things to say on this topic, but I wait for the specific questions.
Yeah, my microphone has jumped a little bit for a while, so sorry for that. Marco, this is exactly I wanted to ask, and sorry for all the other speakers. Marco will be my first respondent, because I'm really keen, and I hope our audience is keen as well, to hear about how your assessment tool looks like, what can it do, how it can be used, where is it already in practice, and so on. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yes, so thank you. So as part of the Level Up project, our task was to measure the environmental and also economic benefits of the life extension of this large industrial equipment. So these are very large machines that can often, for example, weigh up to 200 or 300 tons. So you have a lot of materials there. And so, of course, keeping these products in use for longer means that less has to be manufactured. So if you double the life of a machine that weighs 300 tons, that's 300 tons less of materials that needs to be manufactured. However, it's, as I was saying just now, it's really important to take an entire life cycle perspective, because of course there's a lot of, for example, maybe emissions or carbon dioxide emissions associated with the manufacturing of the different metals or steel or others. But you have to make sure that you're looking at that and any changes you make to the design or to the manufacturing or life extension in the context of what happens in the rest of the life of the product. Because if you have such a big machine, for example, the use phase, if you have a lot of weight moving around up and down, like in a large industrial press, that will also consume a lot of energy. So that's why from at the very beginning we realized that in order to measure benefits, we needed to make sure that there was no burden shifting from one phase of the life cycle to another. So summing up, this is not to say that you shouldn't look only at manufacturing, but that you should make sure that any benefits happening there do not result in emissions displaced to another part of the life cycle. So this is basically taking a life cycle approach. And in a life cycle approach, you're not only looking at manufacturing and the use phase, you're also looking at the end of life, what happens with the materials once this equipment stops working, and also whether there's any recycling. As part of the Level Up project, we're also looking at life extension, for example, through optimization of the use of the machines, also through repair, remanufacturing, and other techniques. And we try to include all of these options into our tool. So that's why it had to be quite flexible, and that was one of the main challenges for us of the project. And also another thing that we were very aware of is that well, nowadays there's a lot of focus on energy consumption and carbon dioxide emissions, because it's a really urgent topic, of course. But very often in the manufacturing of metals, you'll have other emissions related to that could be, for example, emissions that are toxic to ecosystems, or that could result in emissions that are harmful to people. So we wanted to consider all these different impact categories in the analysis as well. And of course, the challenge when you include a lot of phases of the life cycle, a lot of type of impact categories, is to come up with a result that's also easy to interpret, or at least that results in some kind of clear conclusion for the users of the tool. So those were some of the challenges that are part of creating a way to measure the outcomes of different decisions that's actually helpful and meaningful.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You would deserve a kind of a prize. I do hope that in the UK the colleagues have such a kind of competition as we have in Czech Republic, our visionaries, because it's a wonderful idea. And yeah, maybe we will get some feedback from the other speakers.
Just want to say that we didn't develop all the methodologies, but we built up, for example, on the very established life cycle assessment methodology, and streamlined approaches and made it all as relevant as possible for the Level Up project.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks for that. Gabriele, my last question will go to you, because Gabriele will unfortunately need to leave us a little bit earlier. So definitely we would like to learn more about what is happening in Sicily, what is happening with smart packaging and sparing our environment and planet using your system. Gabriele, could you tell us a little bit more about the philosophy of reuse, recycle, and reduce in the methodology and products of your company?
Yes. As I have told before, Robopack has been very active in the history in help our customer to understand how to use new material deriving, for example, from a recycling part. In our packaging machine is used a lot of plastic film, and now is available on the market, but also some spin-off very excellent, some new material that use recycled part. So this means don't extract new fossil product to produce new material. So, but reusing the material that is used for wrapping product. When you unwrap the product, you can save, recycle this part and enter in the circular economy to produce new material. Obviously, this means that we have a test environment to be sure that this material recycled and reused have the same quality of before, because when one pallet of bottle is transported by a truck from one city to another city, never happens to the product in terms of damage. This means put in one environment in RoboPack, different machine to create this test. And this is the first step in which RoboPack won't be near to his customer to understand how optimize the production using recycling and reused material. Obviously, this means also don't or reduce also the energy to produce this material, and also anhydride carbonic, so means reduce this. Difficult to understand in which percentage, because we are not producer of this material. Obviously, if we look to all entire chain of the production, from extraction of fossil material, transformation, and arrive to the reels of film, respect to reusing part, putting in production to realize the reel of film, we can cut a lot of part of production. So means less energy, less fossil prime material, and so on. But we look also for a new step, that is a virtualization, the idea to do this test, because if you are able, and this is our project in terms of change to twin, to have a digital model of the characteristic and the physical characteristic and behavior of the pallet during its transport by truck or by ship or by plane, wrapping with material plastic that we are able to describe in terms of mechanical and physical characteristic, and we put all of this in one digital model of that represent the physical model. After to do a test, we don't need any more real material like a bottle of water to wrap, plastic film to wrap the pallet, and spend a lot of energy in driving machine for real wrapping cycle. Just to give you an example, if we conduct one test for 1 hour, more or less we use 50 kilograms of film, and the test maybe sometimes destroy material because some part have been accelerated and shaken very much to understand if the wrapping is solid and is strong, and need to reuse also other bottle of water or orange juice and so on. If we don't do that physically, but we do by digital twin, we can destroy a lot of digitalized model of the part. We can destroy a lot of product, but without use material, saving material. So we pass from the concept to recycle, reuse, to the concept to reduce the use of material. So this is our vision. And we have also other step for the future, because we want to understand and virtualize also the evaluation and estimation of the force of shaking of the pallet during a travel, for example, between Milan to other cities in Central Europe to transport production. And we want to virtualize also this to introduce a physical modeling, shaking in our digital twin, in order to don't use also truck to do this experiment. So reducing another way, prime material, energy, gasoline, and so on. This is our vision. And we are working on it actively.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm marking it and putting down my notes very carefully, because there is really huge potential of replication of this concept in the other regions of Europe and the other industries, maybe also uptaking this idea by the large companies that are doing the packaging themselves and so on. So this is in fact also answer to my next question that came to my mind. If the system or the project or the idea that you are bringing, guys, is replicable also to the other regions or to the other sectors of industry. Definitely the one Gabriela has brought to this web cafe fulfills this criteria. So thanks, Gabriela, for that. Of course, you are now permitted to to leave if you will need to leave us, but we'll be, of course, more than happy if you would stay with us for a while, at least for future few minutes, because I will be getting back to Edurne and Oscar, who will be taking up the glove of my question that I would like to pose to you. The same or very similar to the one of just now summed up after hearing what Gabriela is bringing. How your projects, how your reduce, reuse, and recycle solutions look like, and whether they are possibly replicable also to the other regions of Europe or other sectors of industry. Edurne or Oscar, who would like
sorry,
answer?
just a moment, Teresa and all, but unfortunately, some improvised must leave the meeting now for my side, but I want to say thank you to everybody and stay in touch with you also for next topics and in future also for share our experience. So sorry for that, but I have to leave and have a good webinar about sustainability. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing us this nice impulse and experiences from Sicily, southern Italy. Yeah, have a nice day. See you.
You too.
So coming back to Edurne and Oscar, tell me, lady and sir, who would like to answer.
Well, maybe I can continue with the discussion. Following the inputs that Marco and Gabriele has introduced, I think the other pillar that is also important is the optimization of the production processes itself, because they are indeed a way to reduce the quantity of scraps. Mainly in my project in EcorQ, that is mainly dealing with zero defect technologies, we are fully committed into the reduction of defects in different production processes. Let's imagine we want, for example, let's see an example I like to present. I don't know if we have ever imagine how sustainable is this action, drinking a coffee. And for example, in this simple aspect, there are many plastics involved, and it's also a global objective to reduce the use of plastics. In the manufacturing of these plastics, there are a lot of room for improvement, because there are many production processes, like for example injection molding, thermoforming, and many others that deeply and yearly generates a lot of tons of scrap. And zero defect technologies can be successfully applied to this kind of sectors. Within EcorQ, we develop generic solutions that can be applied not only for that sector, but also for other more typical ones like machine tool sectors, ceramic production, plastics, and many others that can also be benefited from our results. In that sense, we making use of different digital technologies, like for example data analytics, AI, also as well digital twins, and we are able to optimize the production process in this goal of reducing the defects and the way to reduce the waste that nowadays manufacturing industries are making. So that's our contribution to the sustainability manufacturing. Reduce the global waste that we generate in our production processes.
Yeah, thank you for this input, and it generates another question that I would like to pose to Edurne. Edurne, please, firstly, tell us how do you copy with the initial philosophy, reduce, reuse, and recycle? And please let you also mention in your answer which digital technologies you understand or you consider as the most useful to fulfill this philosophy: reuse, reduce, and recycle. We have heard about robotics, we have heard about digital twins. Oscar was just now speaking a little bit about data analytics and AI. So what would be in your opinion, the most useful technology, and what is the technology you're using within your solution?
Okay, so, well, firstly, I will try to explain in Level Up what we are doing on this regard. So, as Marco explained, our main objective is try to extend the lifetime of very old large industrial equipment and machines. And we are retrofitting and modernizing them through digitalization, so deploying different Industry 4.0 technologies. So, in this sense, we are keeping these machines more time in the product use stage. We are retaining the value of the materials they were made of, and in the other side we are reducing, as Marco also commented, the need of having to extract new materials, having to use new resources to manufacture these materials and produce new machines. So this is actually the main objective that we are addressing in Level Up in terms of reduction. I would say for the term reuse, if we understand reuse as using the machine or any component for other purpose that was not the original given, we are not specifically doing that in the project, but we are quite active and working strong on other circular economy art strategies, for example, refurbish, remanufacturing, and repair. And I know the terminology sometimes is also complicated, not to differentiate what activities should be included within each action. But it's true also in the projects, for example, we are focusing on components that, for example, are damaged or that are worn out. For that, we are applying refurbishment activities to bring these components back to as a new status. We are also applying repair actions to bring the component to as a new integrity status, and we are also applying remanufacturing technologies and remanufacturing actions to bring these components to as a new integrity and well performing status. So just answering the question also that you mentioned, which technologies will be very important for us in the project that we are deploying the project for extending the lifetime of these industrial equipment. Well, I can say that for us, in general, digitalization is clue. So in this side, digitalization and circular economy goes together. Within the digitalization, we can consider so many of the technologies that you have already mentioned. But in the Level Up, I will focus, for example, in the data analytics and also in the additive manufacturing technologies. So for us, we are gathering large amounts of data that were never before gathered from these machines, because, as I said, these are very old machines that sometimes from the late 90s that never faced retrofitting at all. Nothing was monitored, sensorized, nothing was automatized, and they were relying on manual operations. So for us, data quality and data availability is super important, because we are seeing that interpreting this data that is being gathered is opening a wide range of opportunities for value creation on the circular and digital era. And then I will say additive manufacturing, but because this is also one of the main technologies that we are using in the project within the repair and the manufacturing strategy that we have in the project. This is the key technology that we are using. So we are using different laser technologies to really repair the key components of these large industrial machines. So for us, I will say additive manufacturing will be clue. And then in terms of recycling, well, just as Mark also mentioned, because they were the ones actually working on this regard. So once we see that these machines or these key components, they cannot really be safe. So we have truly reached their end of life, we go to the last step, to the recycling stage, to the valorization stage, which, as you might know, is the lowest one in the circular economy pyramid. And here what we try to do and what we have been doing in the project is we have looking for the best solutions, no, in terms of the material composition of these components of the structural part of the machine, also based on the regulation for each country, and also based on the recycling suppliers, no, that the country is providing. So we have identified, no, the best option for these machines and for these materials.
Thanks for that. I'm trying to search for the questions from our audience, and I can't believe that with more than 20 people that are just now present, we do not have any questions from them. So I would like to encourage our audience to post the questions in the panel on the right. We'll be happy to answer them. But of course, I have many more questions that come to my mind when learning more and more about your smart solutions to protect the environment and the planet. So I would like to come back to Marco now, and I would like to ask him, according to your opinion, Marco, what are the 3 enablers and 3 barriers that need to be addressed first when it comes to the sustainable manufacturing? So what offers the greatest opportunities, and what is the greatest obstacle?
Yes, so that's a really good question. I would start with the enablers. I'm not sure if I'll have 3 of each, but I'll give you my thoughts on the enablers and barriers. So the first enabler to me is one that I said and I keep on banging about, but is this life cycle thinking approach. So it's important not to be reductionist in when finding for solutions, but look at the broader implications of any solution that is being implemented. And then the second key aspect, I think, is actually measuring the benefits, the changes. If a process is changed, what is the actual effect of that? And of course, it doesn't always need to be, you could be working, for example, through digital twins or other ways to model what the outcome will be, but don't assume that certain solutions are always better. I think in the field of sustainability, there's been a lot of examples of unintended consequences of things that we thought would be more sustainable, but then when you scale them, they create other problems. So I say those 2 things are really important. And then the third one, and it's one that we work a lot on in the Level Up project, is the sharing of information and the trust building between the different actors and different stakeholders in the value chain. And for example, in the Level Up project, we have lots of different actors working together. So it's not only the production lines that are trying to figure this out alone, but there's the repairers, there's the users involved, and in that way you can make sure that the right data is generated and passed on to the right people to ensure the best use of the machines is given. So I would say, to me, those are 3 key enablers. And in terms of barriers, I think one of the barriers that's most present to me is that very often, especially when thinking about sustainability, companies, organizations might be afraid of transparency or sharing of information because of public opinion, or because there's always this negative feeling towards things with an environmental impact. But at the same time, a lot of the environmental impact challenges are actually really difficult to solve, and an organization alone might not be able to do this. So being transparent and being honest about where an organization is allows for that collaboration to happen that will solve a lot of the issues. And very often, especially if we take this broader look at broader approach to sustainable manufacturing, it's not only about how something is produced, but how it's used. So by definition, it will involve different stakeholders. So the transparency and the communication, I think, is either a barrier, in my opinion, very often nowadays, but can be a key enabler.
Okay, thanks for that.
Sorry, just wanted to add something on that. That is related to the Level Up project, but this data collection and sharing, and that's also very related to other European initiatives that are sort of in development, like the Digital Product Passport, that's about sharing the key data to the key players in the value chain to obtain better environmental outcomes.
I was listening carefully, and I'm wondering whether sometimes the barriers are also not about the money, about the economic requirements that sometimes need to be in the beginning of introduction of new innovative solutions, including those environmentally friendly. And I would like to ask Oscar, what does he think? Being sustainable means more investment or more savings at the short and long run, and where is the balance about it?
Yeah. Well, I fully agree with you. Yeah, I think the points that Marco has commented. I think yeah, one of the barriers maybe nowadays is really there. It is the companies. I mean, sometimes looking only at the short-term profitability of their businesses, especially now we are this continuous crisis after crisis. But at the also this is a good opportunity for them because if they are able to make the needed changes, maybe some guys needing the necessary investments and adaptations of the manufacturing lines, and the end change the way they do their businesses, they can also benefit of the results. Many cases there is the brand value of your businesses. You use sustainability as a key aspect of your business. You are trying to reduce waste as much as possible. You are avoiding the use of non-recycled plastics. You are trying to extend the life of your machinery and so on. It's a good opportunity, and you have make use in your marketing campaigns and make everyone aware of it. So yeah, the very beginning, especially for small companies, SMEs, maybe a little bit difficult to adapt because adaptation is always difficult. But at the end, it can be profitable for them and profitable for the whole world. That is so the most important part here when we talk about sustainability.
Yeah, maybe Teresa, if I can jump in.
Yes, of course, Edurne.
Okay, yeah, it's just to double confirm, let's say, one statement that Marco just said about the one key enabler, I would say, for implementing real sustainability practices. So he mentioned about having these KPIs or metrics on circularity, or the real impact that at the end this is bringing to the end users. So it is true that, for example, for end users, knowing things like how much circular your business can become, so which opportunities or which options you have, which technologies, with regulations you will have to comply in 5, 10 years, and the most important also at the end, if this will be at the end economically feasible. So I think having this kind of assessment and giving this information to them will help a lot, to adopt these practices into industry. Then I know I'm very critical with that, but I will say it also that one enabler, I also mentioned it at the beginning of the call, will be regulation. So my feeling is that not enough is being doing from the regulation side. We need to make business see environment as seriously as should be taken. And I don't believe that a voluntary based action or regulation on climate change is helping here. So I truly believe that we need an compliance-based approach from the regulation side. So, for example, having more ambitious mandatory recycling rates, more ambitious mandatory reductions of emissions, of waste generation, materials consumption. So these kind of things, because I think we are in the right track, but I also believe that, for example, all these targets that are being set in the different agendas for 2030 and 2050 will be difficult not to achieve if we don't have a stricter policy here. So yeah, I just wanted to comment this, because I think it's really important also to mention.
Yes, you're right. Regulation was one aspect that was missing in our discussions until now. Yes, so thank you for stepping into this. And I just wanted to add to the Oscar's contribution that, in fact, according to my opinion, the investments to find new, more environmentally friendly solutions in the companies and to implement them can be like double important and double useful, because in a longer term it can in fact bring more profit to the company, because some of the environmentally friendly solutions might be sparing the materials, energy, and so on, and in a long-term economical profit, it can be very much useful to the company. And in the same time, introducing environmentally friendly solutions, the company increases its own value, and of course in the future a much more valuable and much more welcome will be the companies that will be environmentally friendly, that will be sustainable, and that will build its solutions on environmentally friendly technologies. And coming back to our audience, we have received one question. It is a little bit disruptive question, but I would like to ask all the three of you to think about it and to bring possibly your answers, because Loic Marin is asking how to ensure that the use of digital technologies in manufacturing processes does not have a more damaging environmental cost than without. So please let you think about, and please let you possibly come with your opinion. How about digital technologies that are progressive and that are bringing more profit, more efficiency to the company, but at the end might cause some negative environmental effect? How about how it should be considered and how we should prevent such effect in practice? Please let you take up the microphone. Marco is first.
Yeah, I have a partial answer, and I find it very hard to give like a general statement about digital technologies, and I guess they can be used for good purposes or purposes with negative consequences. But what I would say in the context of, for example, sustainable manufacturing is to either measure or model the environmental or different sustainable dimensions that you're looking for example, social outcomes of how the technology will be used. And I wouldn't assume that the impact will be positive just because it's something innovative or new. So that would be my answer, is to figure out what the actual impacts will be and make sure those are positive. I think that's that would be my position on this. But I think it's a really interesting question.
I don't know, Oscar, do you want to add something that has come to your mind?
Yeah, well, for me also the life cycle analysis and well, seeing the whole picture is really important because first you need to evaluate how your business is at the current state and possibly try to find out which are the hot spots where the greater potential is for improvement and so on, and then try to minimize the bad effects that may come with it in some cases. And then try to see we are making progress. And that I think life cycle analysis is a good tool for that.
Yeah, this is exactly my experience and my opinion that when we were talking about CSR strategies like 20 years ago, it has been formulated, yes, but nobody in fact could project and could think in the advance about the real effects of implementation of such CSR strategies, including the environmental pillars of these strategies. And the charm of the digital is that you can introduce data models, putting there into numbers, putting their indicators that could change in time, and try to project how the real implementation of such CSR strategy, including the environmental one, would look like in a practice. And you could then try to reach the numbers and indicators that would be fitting into the projection of such a positive development, including new positive impacts to the environment. Well, we are coming to the end of this web cafe. I would like to come around you with one final sentence from each of you. What are you taking from this webinar, where you will continue, and what is in fact your final message? So ladies first, Edurne, your.
Okay, so yeah, I think I will repeat myself, but my answer or my final sentence will be that regulation and data are crucial here, and I will say also digitalization is something crucial to for really value creation on the sustainable manufacturing side. Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, I think
Yes, thank you for that.
thinking
Oscar?
about sustainability. Yeah, do you hear me? Yeah, well, say yes, mainly for the industries is take sustainability seriously and try to make part of your business, because in the long term it will be really profitable for you, for your brand, for your products, profitable for everyone of us. I think that's the way. There are many tools out there and many options. Digitalization is making possible things that maybe in the past were difficult to address. But I think the tools are there, and we need to push into the global sustainability.
Great. How about Marco? His final sentence, his final message?
Yes, I would say when looking at sustainable manufacturing, don't focus only on the manufacturing itself, but consider the entire life cycle. Then transparency and cross-value chain collaboration. I think those would be my key messages.
Yes, thank you for that. And my key final message, Firstly, a big thank you to all those who have discussed today, to Edurne, Oscar, Marco, and also Gabriela, who is unfortunately not present right now, but has contributed very valuably to the discussions. And thanks to all the audience that has been with us here today. And my final message, well, let's consider the profit, but let's also consider the impacts, because in fact, why are you working? You're working to ensure the welfare of the next generations, including your own children. And if it would be just a profit, that's a bad thing, because we need to make also social profit from the industry and from the things we are working on. So let's save the planet, let's spare the environment, let's reuse, reduce, and recycle, because like this we will help to the next generations to gain the real profit from the things that we are doing right now. So thanks to all of you. Have a nice day, have a nice spring. Greetings from Prague, and it was a real pleasure to have you here today. See you next time. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you. Bye all.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.